On today's Everything Music, I'd like to talk about how to develop an idea. I want to kind of run you through the process of how I start to generate ideas. They could be for a film cue or just for one of these videos. The first thing I like to do is just find something, whether it's through improvising around. I may just lay my hands down on a chord. I may go something, and just play something like that. Okay, that's a A-flat Lydian chord. I like the sound of that. It's like the first thing that I laid my hands on. Where do I go from there? What kind of a mood am I trying to create? Is it a... I'm gonna try. Let me. Let's see here. Let me create a little moving line, a pulsing line. Let's say something like this. Okay, so I changed a little bit. I didn't start on the A Lydian. I started on the B flat. So it's B flat, D flat, D. And I'm thinking of. Could be E flat major. That's kind of a sound that I'm hearing, or it could be A flat Lydian. It could be F Dorian. Could be any of these. We don't know because there's really no left hand information yet. But that's a good start there. But I start on B flat and I have a little moving line on the top. Now what am I doing there? I'm going. So I've got an E flat spread triad, and here I'm doing. It's B flat, D, E flat. So it's kind of a fragment of a B flat suspended chord with a third. It could be a lot of things really. But it sounds good. But when I go down to that A flat major spread triad and back to the B flat, then it really has a vibe. Okay, I'm going to record that now. And let's see here. I'm going to tap the tempo out. It's 110. I'm going to put a click on. I usually give myself 2 bars. 1, 2, 3. Then I'll take that and I'll do a little quantizing on it. Quantizing means I'm just going to put it right on the grid here. Because once again, this is just a sketch. So I'm going to quantize it to eighth notes. I'm going to listen to it real fast. It needs something that comes in. I'm going to do it on piano now, but it might be something somewhere else in the orchestra. So let me add a track here. I'm going to double the length of it so that I have a lot to work with, so I'm not going to run out. Okay, so I'm going to let it play for a second. Maybe something like this. 3, 4. Repeat. That's a good start. That sounds cool. I like the sound of that. I'm going to bring the click down a little bit so it's not as... Okay. So I want to have a little fill line in between these perfect fifths where I'm going A flat, E flat, F, C, E flat, B flat. I'm going to have something do do da da. 2, 3. In the second phrase, I'm going to do a similar thing. Change the chord now. 2, 3. Okay, let's listen to it from the top. So here we go. 3, 4. Answer. Again. That's a cool start. So what am I doing in the low register? Okay, so I started after the first. Then I answered with that with a E flat sus2 to E flat major, and then the second time I answered with F sus2 to F minor. Spread triads on both. So both these chords are in the key of E flat major. I use the tonic and I use the 1 chord and the 2 chord. So now that I listen to it, I'm thinking, okay, well maybe I should reverse and put the F minor part first and go to the E flat major part second. Let's check it out. I think I like the first one better. Now I want to bring in maybe a string line that's going to have more of a sustaining feel, because since we already have a pulsating line in the piano, I don't want to do anything that's going to distract from that. That's kind of a rhythmic element that's propelling the track. Something with the violins that's going to go with the bass part. I'm going to try something with 6. I'm going to come in with a bass. Something like this. That sounds cool. Let's check that out. I'm going to turn off the click now so we can kind of hear actually what it sounds like. Nice. Then I'm leaving the space for that piano line. So now I have 3 elements in there. What you don't want to do is you never really want to have more than 3 competing elements. Everything is always about support. So how do you support the other lines? Is there something I can do in the low register, in the cellos, for example, to go along with the violins? Maybe I want to do... So I'm going to try that on a different track. I'll try it here. Probably want to lengthen that last fifth that I had, so it resonates out a little bit longer than that. So I'm just going to go and highlight that. I probably want it to end right on that phrase, right where that turnaround is. So I'm going to probably take it that long. Maybe it just needs to go that long. You always want to leave space for the reverb tails of the instruments. You want to leave space in the arrangement so that things can kind of appear and reappear, and then you can have your sudden moves. If you're scoring a cue you want to have these things move with some type of movement on the screen that's going on in whatever cue you're doing. So let's listen to that from the top again and see what it sounds like. Check it out. So here we go. I think one of my notes is getting clipped a little bit. I think I want to go da 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 da. I'm going to move back this to here and then see what this sounds like. Yeah, that's better. Anytime you're coming into a break, you want to have a little swell with a little crescendo into a stop. It's very common to do that so that it emphasizes the suddenness of the break. So I'm going to ride the string part here. So right there, if I go into touch mode here and I go... So I've done a volume ride here on my strings. Still needs to be clipped off a little bit earlier. Let's see if this sounds better. That's better. Now, what I would do is I would put dynamics in the string part here too, because you're not going to want them to be static. This is the problem with when you're programming things like this. This is where real instruments are far superior than the sound libraries. But the sound libraries are great to give you an idea of what it's going to sound like. Not only give you an idea, if you're writing a cue for a director, you want to give them the idea of what it's going to sound like. So I'm going to want to make it sound as close as I can to how it would sound with real instruments, and I'm going to want to put some more dynamics in the in my string part here by doing volume rides. There are certain sounds that will have crescendos in them, but you can simply do crescendos with a volume ride like you would do. It's not going to have the same tone as if I'm actually playing and I'm digging in harder with the bow and increasing my vibrato maybe at the end of the line, at the end of the note, I mean. It's not going to have the same sound, but it will get across the same idea. I could also hear a French horn part that comes in, maybe a two-part French horn idea that comes in before the strings. Check this out, see if this works. Maybe right here. Then together. That's pretty cool. Let's listen to it. So it comes in. I probably want to increase the velocity on those so they have a little bit more attack on them. Check it out. The last note needs to be a little bit quieter. And what I'm going to do, I want to taper it. I'm going to hold it a little bit longer. I'm going to taper it again with a volume ride. So I'm going to go into touch mode here. Touch mode is when I can ride the part. I'm going to do a crescendo on the horns as well. So I go in here and do this and just hit it. But then I want to get out fast because the note's hanging over a little long. I probably want to get out right about there. So the swell should sound like this. Might be a bit next part. Now I have a little bit of counterpoint going on here in this on this one. Check it out. Once again, I want to do that volume ride on that part, so I'm going to do that. Let's check it out from the top with the horns. Great. That's a very simple beginning of a cue. I started with a basic idea of a chord. I started with an A-flat Lydian chord and started to layer ideas on there. I did the answer line of the piano. Then I did the doubling of the cellos with the low bass part of the piano. I had the violins up in sixth, moving. It could be the violins and the violas up in sixth, playing up in the higher register. It'd probably actually be the violins split and then the transition when I get into the mid-range where I'd bring in the viola. And then I added my French horns in there. And that's like the beginning part of an idea. And I think there could be a couple other layers on here, but this is really, I wanted to give you an idea of my creative process and a way to jumpstart your ideas just by experimenting, jumping in. And sometimes I'll go through 3 or 4 ideas before I hit on something. Sometimes it's not immediate where I just play something, my hands just hit something on the piano or the guitar. On the guitar, a lot of times it might be something with an effect, or and a couple notes or some type of rhythmic figure or something. But this was I did that pulsating piano part, and then I said, okay, well, what needs to go with that? That's going to provide the rhythmic element. Now I need to add some other melodic countermelodies to give it even more weight, add dynamics, and then you're really starting to begin to develop the idea. That's all for now. Please subscribe here to my Everything Music YouTube channel, and if you're interested in the Beato book, you can write me at rickbeato1@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.